Hello guys, myself Ankita. Today in this video we shall see on the problem of LeetCode, minimum common value. So given two integer arrays num1 and num2 sorted in non-decreasing order, return the minimum integer common to both arrays. So if there is no common integer, then return -1. Note that the integer is said to be common to both the arrays if at least one occurrence of that integer is present in both the arrays. So the given problem is if there are given two arrays and they are in the non-decreasing order. That means they are in the ascending order. Elements in the array are already in sorted format. And you have to return the smallest common element present in both the arrays. So if you look into this example 1, here 2 is present in both the arrays and that itself is the smallest common element. Hence you return 2. And moving on to the second example, you could see 2 and 3 both are present as common elements in the both the arrays. But if you observe 2 is smaller than 3, hence you return 2. So there are two common elements in the array 2 and 3, out of which 2 is the smallest, hence you return 2. So what's the approach to solve this problem? So let's take the example 1, 2, 3 and 6. This array 1 and array 2 is 2, 3, 4, 5. So of course we have to iterate through both the arrays. If you start with the first array and second array and two indexes I and j, thing is you have to compare the first element of this array with the remaining elements of the other array. And this comparison with the remaining elements of the other array is restricted. Not all the arrays need to be, not all the elements need to be iterated, because you could see since the arrays is in sorted order. So if you start with the element 1 in the first array and compare it with the second array's first element, and if you observe that the second array's first element is 2 and first array's first element is 1, that means the 1 will not occur in the second element, however. So that won't be the case. So if array 1's ith element, whatever present, if that is lesser than the array 2's jth element, that means you need not to consider the situation. You have to perform I plus plus here. In that case, I plus plus required. Next, again you compare 2 and 2. Yeah, both are equal in this case. And so you can see array 1's ith element is equal to array 2's jth element. If they are equal, let's store the resultant minimum element in some integer known as array. So integer known as element. So this element stores the minimum common element between both the arrays. So once you find n of I is equal to n of j, and this is initialized to -1 initially. Why? Because in the code they have told if there are no common elements between both the arrays, then you return -1. That's why. So initially it is initialized element equal to -1, right? So now you found n of I equal to n2 of j. So that means this is the very first common element you found in the both the arrays. So in this case, element is equal to -1. Since you doesn't care, you just reinitialize element equal to, since you found the common element, that will be equal to array 1 of I or array 2 of j also fine. Oh, this is one case. So now after this is done, now you have to increment both I plus plus and j plus plus. So you increment I again, and incrementing j is not necessary. It's fine if you don't increment j also, because next iteration will check it. So now once you increment I, again you compare I is equal to j. No, but this 2 is lesser than 3. That means yeah, still there are chances to occur 3 in the next further elements in the second array. So you increment j now. So if this is not the case, or this is not the case, you just increment j plus plus. If This condition doesn't happen, you increment the j value. Now again you check I is equal to I is equal to j, but element is not equal to minus 1 this time. Element is nothing but it was reinitialized to 2, no? So this 2. So here you have to take the else condition actually. Else if part, if element is not equal to minus 1, then you have to check for else part, you have to check if element whatever present, that is greater than whatever element found now. So if element is not equal to minus 1, that means this is not the very first occurrence of a common element in both arrays. So in this case, you have to compare the whatever common element you got it with the previous common element stored in the array, previous smallest common element stored in the array. So if the element this is greater than this array current positions element, that means this is the smallest element now. So again, you have to reinitialize element equal to n1 now. So here in this case it won't be actually because 2 is smaller than 3. 3. This condition won't happen. So this case won't be executed. So element will remain equal to 2 itself. So after this return again you increment that. When you compare here with more values, you won't find any matching because 6 won't be equal to 4, 6 won't be equal to 5. So it was not value when you return the 10. Now I'll write the code and explain when you had. So at first we will find the length of two arrays dot length, then int n2 equal to nums2 dot length. Then after that I will store the result that is initialized to minus 1. Then we need int I equal to 0 and int j equal to 0 because we'll be using while condition to compare the elements in both arrays I and j. Now start with the while condition. While I should be lesser than n1, its length, and j should be lesser than n2, that is into second array C. So where both are lesser than their length, now have to check if now at first we should check if the ith element whatever present here that is greater than the this element. So in this case nums of j is greater than nums of I. That means you need not to perform the further iteration or comparison itself here because since element is in array is in sorted order, you won't find one in the second array. So at first we need to check that condition if nums2 of j, whatever here you have, if that is lesser than or equal to nums1 of I. In this example, this is not lesser than or equal to nums2. If that is the condition only, you go to the further comparison in the array elements. So if nums2 of j is less than or equal to nums2 of I, now we have to check if nums1 of I is equal to nums2 of j. So if you encounter, now you encounter nums1 of I equal to nums1 of j. So what if, as I said, when you find nums1 of I equal to nums2 of j, and that is the very first occurrence of common element in both the arrays. How will you get to know? Because element will be initially initialized to minus 1. If that is the case, then you should not perform any comparison. If element is equal to minus 1, then element will be reinitialized to nums1 of I. Else, if if we have to check if nums1 of I, whatever you got it, if that is lesser than already common element which you found in array, then we have to initialize element equal to nums1 of I. So check here, at the very first occurrence of element here, initial element equal to minus 1. And you find nums of I equal to nums of j. So 2 will be equal to 2. So you compare these two, is it lesser than minus 1? That won't happen any conditions, any time also. The element will remain minus 1 throughout the iteration. That's why if element is equal to minus 1, you just reinitialize with the new common element. That is the very first common element you found in both arrays. Then further if you find any common element, then only you check for this condition. So at each thing here you can do I plus plus, and here also I plus plus. What if you don't find any element equal? Then in such case you need to include j plus plus. That means you will compare here you find 2, right? If you start with 2, you have found already. You start with 1 and imagine you have yeah, if you don't find any common element, you have to iterate to the further elements in the array. So in case of 6 here, compare it with 4, that is not matching. Then again you do j plus plus. 6 with 5 also you compare it. So that is where j plus plus is used. And next one more, what if this condition is not satisfied? That means here you encounter it. One is lesser than 2. Whatever the secondary element you have that is greater than the first element. That means you just need to increment I, right? So here comes else condition, else plus plus. Last, you just need to enter the smallest common element. Nums 1. Okay. So while looking into this code, you might get confused a little bit. But if you trace the code with an example, or at first you look into the example and solve the problem manually in the paper, then you